Oh, while you're up there, as far as the appraisal that was done, was that done by a certified appraiser?
MAI, yes.
MAI, and is that going to be peer reviewed, or what? I mean, most of the time we get two appraisals. I just wondered if we're going to be doing that.
I had not planned on that. I can certainly do it. At the standpoint, the way the contract was written, our standard would be that it would be contingent upon the average of two appraisals not being less than the purchase price. Since I did not write the contract and that was not agreed upon, that is not a contingency in the contract like the other due diligence.
But do you know the comparables that were used in this appraisal, and
No.
do they make sense that they were, in fact, the correct zoning?
I'm sure all that was considered. I did talk to the appraiser earlier this morning. I asked him if he read the article in the paper. He said he did. He feels comfortable with his analysis of the property. He said there's a lot of things in consideration, as well as what the current market conditions are and what you would develop the properties for, whether they're on the edge or on the core. So, yes.
When will you have the hard copy of the appraisal? I mean, the way we are now, not only don't we have the peer review that Commissioner Staub is talking about, which means a second appraisal, we don't even really get to see the first appraisal. When?
I'll be more than happy to make a copy available.
It doesn't matter after we vote.
But it's...
Will you have it by tomorrow?
All I can say is I did the best I could to get everything to you as quickly as I could.
I'm not inferring it is in any way your fault, but if you had them tomorrow, maybe we could look at them before we voted.
You know, I could only call to see. I don't know where he is on typing up the text of the report. He did the calculations, looked at the comps, had his sheets, came up with a number, and he's in the process of finishing the report.
Commissioner Rarbetta?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just to allay some fears and some concerns, the comments by the two people in today's paper, in fairness, one of them actively wants the stadium at the bayfront. So I think his comment should be discounted completely. You know, Mr. Black, he's a respected real estate person. I understand that, but there's certain people that want the stadium at certain locations, so their comments are skewed. That's number one. Number two, to do comparables, you don't just look at the zoning, you look at the location. This is on 301, heavy traffic area, incredible frontage on US 301, adjacent to a beautiful park. That's number two. Number three, knowing the people that were involved in this process that represented the county, the third parties. I spoke with them as a follow-up. They did 5 or 6 comparables. All of them seemed perfectly reasonable to me, including the one across the street at $100 a foot, including the one a couple blocks away at the Women's Exchange at $130 a foot. So there were at least 5 or 6 comparables. Only one was at $89 a foot. All the rest were well over $90, some in the $100 a foot.
But they had different zoning.
But they were in different locations. One of them had downtown core, but it was on the corner of Laurel and Oak. It wasn't in a heavy traffic area where thousands and thousands of cars go by every day. It wasn't 400 feet of frontage on US 301. So there's a lot of Monday morning quarterbacking going on here by appraisers. And I think the reporter should have done a little more due diligence before putting an article like that in the paper and checking with the people and checking with the person who bought the property, who represented us in buying this property. I think there's been some unfair reporting and some unfair comments. Thirdly, again, we're a conduit for the city. The city voted 5-0. The city has agreed to buy this property. They're content with this property adjacent to the park, whether it becomes part of the stadium or not. We're simply the conduit. I think we've done considerable due diligence. You've done a great job, John. Our representatives, our 2 representatives, the assignor and the person who assembled the property did a great job. And I think we're a little bit of micromanagement here. And I know everybody's going to say I got a horse in this race because I've been working, trying to get the stadium here. But I look at this as a win-win, whether we get the stadium there or not. This is an incredible addition to the park. And what's missing completely from this discussion is we're closing down an ongoing business that generates considerable amount of cash that has an ongoing value, not even considered in this price. Now, if we do a full-blown appraisal, including the business, we may find out that the business is worth $1 million. And that's got to close on the day we close. So that's not even in this value. So I'm a little confused as to the over concern. I'm comfortable with the fact we're going to be getting an appraisal. You've told us what it is verbally. We haven't seen it in writing, but I presume it's going to say pretty much what you told us. So I'm fine with the way things are today.
Thank you.
The fact, however, that the city is going to essentially buy or reward us in some way for having done this, in the end, if we put this deal together with the Red Sox, and we have no idea yet how we're going to do that, really, other than the possibility of the half-cent sales tax, but we don't really know how the
Tourist
numbers...
tax.
Yeah, I meant tourist tax. That's a dangerous mistake. The bottom line is the total price of the thing minus whatever we can come up with in tourist tax has to be paid by somebody, the city, the county. We haven't really heard any numbers yet that the city is willing to put on the table. They're in a particularly bad spot because of the referendum that they did hold. We don't know if we're going to get the state money, and the amount of dollars we pay for this is important. It's not, just because the city's taking it over from us, not important, because it's part of the total package that ultimately will have holes that will be called on to fill in with dollars. And I guess I'm about 80% there, but when I look at buying something without even had a chance to look at the comparables myself in something, if I know I could have it in 2 days, it just feels really odd to my personality, which likes to sew things up and have some feeling better than this for what I'm voting for.
What if you had the appraisal and you didn't agree with the comparables?
Then I wouldn't vote for it.
Okay. Then you're probably not going to vote for it today because you want to see the appraisals, and so I'm not sure we're going to get you there unless it's too bad we didn't have the appraiser come before us so that we could actually talk to him or her. That would have been, because then you could ask, and I think that would have been comforting.
Yes, it would have.
Now, do you think you could get him this afternoon?
John's basically...
I could call.
Okay, well, maybe if you call him, maybe he could
Who
give you-
is the appraiser?
Roger Hedman, who does all our appraisals.
Right.
Maybe he could at least give you the comparables, and you could come back to us a little bit later this afternoon and give the comparables to us, so at least Commissioner Patterson, I think she wants to vote for it. It's just how we get it
The
there.
board's wishes is I'll go out and go forth.
What do you think?
I'm sitting here listening, and when you put a deal together, one parcel may create an imbalance, but if it's the linchpin to get through one phase, and this is only one phase, we have multi-steps to take. And it's interesting when you talk zoning, who controls the zoning, but the group people that we have an agreement with, the city of Sarasota, that when they get their hands on it, they can kind of do what they'd like to do. I mean, they still have to play by the rules of the game. So I'm ready to move along on this thing. I think this is just one phase, and we have so many other critical phases that we're going to have to work through to make this thing happen that I'm ready to vote on it now.
I will, but I want to make sure. I want to put...
Well, I'm going to go ahead and support it. I mean, to be honest, I'm extremely uneasy about it. I've never taken a vote like this, but I guess I feel like if the deal doesn't go through, maybe it's the city's folly, although, frankly, I'm a city resident and taxpayer, and it doesn't warm my heart. But if I'm overpaying for a property. But the other side of this is that the magnitude of the deal, if this is a $500,000 off, frankly, there'll be so many wrinkles in the deal that it might make up for it, or it might make it small compared to other things that we end up paying or the right price or not the right price for. I'm not going to be such a pushover on the rest of the deal, so we're going to have to see how this all slices together.
My biggest concern was the environmental issues. And as long as we've got an out on that, that's my
Well,
biggie.
30% over appraisal is like $1.2 million over appraisal, potentially. I mean, we're talking some pretty big money, but you're right to be concerned about the environmental.
And I guess the only thing, when Mr. Hurley said that if you close that road beside Parcel B, you add $700,000 to $800,000 more value, because then you have that whole link to the park. That's impressive too. So that helps make up in my mind for that overage. Okay, go ahead and make it.
Madam Chair, move to approve the memorandum of understanding between the City of Sarasota and Sarasota County for the purchase of additional Payne+Park parcels as described in item B, C, and D, and approving the assignment of contract, the contract itself, and authorize staff to take the appropriate actions to close on all 3 contracts and sign any necessary closing documents.
Second.
Okay, and that's with the closings being simultaneous.
Right.
Okay, and that was Commissioner Barbetta with the motion, seconded by Commissioner Mercier. Further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Chair votes aye. Motion carries unanimously 4-0 with Commissioner Thaxton absent. Okay, thank you. Thank you. I'm sure we'll hear from the other side.
Madam Chair.
Commissioner Lay.
Not Commissioner
Mr. Lay, sorry.
I didn't say one word in any of this.
I know.
It's not a good moment to have done that.
No, it's not.
Mr. Lay.
I just wanted to say, and maybe Commissioner Barbetta, it'd be better if you did this, but we had the assistance of 2 private sector individuals that did this without compensation or any other consideration, only in purely public interest, and well, I'm not necessarily naming them. They should be thanked. I'm sorry, Joe, maybe you want to.
No, that's fine. I didn't want to name them unless they wanted to be named, but well, they are. They did a great job, and this was a lot of hard work. It's tough to try to buy property when you're a county and not let the sellers, know what the purposes are for, because otherwise you feel that your value is going to be inflated when you try to buy it. So these people did a wonderful job in putting this together, and
Without compensation.
Without compensation.
And a lot of time spent and risk.
Commissioner Mercier?
Yeah, I just want to comment. There was a lot of jubilance with the vote. I'm not close. I mean, this is a city deal, and so right now we're playing with the city. This is a city deal, and I'm going to be looking forward to seeing some numbers that make sense for everybody in the entire county. If this is all about tourist tax money, it's not going to float the boat. It's going to have to be more than that. I've been saying that since day one, so I hope everybody understands that. This is just one hurdle we've crossed. Now hopefully we will get the Red Sox to respond, because I'll tell you what, I feel like a mushroom up here. The closet door opens, I'm given something to digest, and the door closes. I do not know what's going on. And that's not healthy when we're being asked to make the type of decision that's coming down the road. So just let everybody be aware. You may be happy now, but there's a lot of work to be done. At least convince one commissioner up here that this is right for the entire county.
Commissioner Patterson?
Well, and if you feel like a mushroom, you just voted on a package on a property with an appraisal you didn't see to support a contract that you're taking over that you can't read. And I would really, really, really appreciate, if our packages maybe on other stuff would be more complete.